Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to go over how to get in more protein per day without also accumulating more fats. Now, this is one of the most common questions that newer clients ask me, and I figured I could go in depth in a video or podcast just like this. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to do exactly that. And make sure you stay for the third and final tip, because that's the one where I'm going to list out plenty of high protein snacks and foods. And if you get value from this episode, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I make more videos just like this every single week. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe as well because I'll be ramping up my episodes there going forward. So in my opinion, the best and easiest way to accumulate more protein without also getting a whole bunch of additional fats is to simply increase the portion size of the protein sources you're currently eating in your meals right now. So if you're having 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day or 5 meals a day, it doesn't matter. Look at the protein sources in those particular meals and just increase the serving size. So if you're having 4 ounces of chicken, make it 6 or 8 ounces of chicken now. If you're having ground turkey with your lunch or your dinner, 6 ounces of it, make it 8 ounces now of ground turkey. If you're having 1 can of tuna with a salad, make it 2 cans of tuna. So you get my point, but this is the easiest way to increase the amount of protein you're eating per day because it doesn't really require any additional work or time, right? If you're cooking chicken anyway, cooking an extra 2 or 3 ounces of it isn't going to take up any additional time. Or if you're making yourself a turkey burger for lunch like I often do, I love turkey burgers, throwing an extra turkey burger on the grill or on the pan or something like that, it's not going to take up any additional time. It's not going to be any additional work. And I do want to be clear, you should increase the portion size of your current protein sources in your actual meals, not of snacks. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to get in all their protein from snacks, like protein bars, Quest protein chips, all these different high protein snacks that they now have in the grocery store. And that's great, and that's a luxury to have all these new protein-based products, but it's going to be way easier to accumulate more protein in the day if you're making sure to get in plenty of protein in the meals themselves. Often the second best way to get in more protein without also accumulating more fat is to simply choose leaner meats. I see this all the time with new trackers, people who are new at tracking their food, is they don't realize the fat to protein ratio of various cuts of meat until they start tracking it. So for example, if you're having chicken thighs or chicken wings, swap that out for chicken breast, which is a much, much leaner cut of chicken, right? You're gonna get in a lot more protein from chicken breast for a lot less fat. And for example, with ground turkey, another one of my favorites, instead of going for the 85% lean, which is often the cheapest and the most marketed in the grocery store, they have the most of it, go for the 93% lean ground turkey, and you're going to basically cut the amount of fat in half. I know that math doesn't exactly add up, but if you look at the nutrition label, there's like half the amount of fat in 93% lean ground turkey, and there's also a few extra grams of additional protein. And the same goes for ground beef. Instead of going for 80 or 85% lean, opt for the 90 or 94% lean ground beef. Another really lean meat option is turkey breast, right? I'm a big fan of ground turkey, but I often overlook turkey breast, which is similar in macros and macro ratios to chicken breast. It's very, very lean. And then foods like fish, I often overlook as well. Fish is always a pretty good and generally lean protein source. Generally, fish like shrimp, tilapia, and tuna are going to be the leanest fish options, meaning they'll give you the most amount of protein for the most minimal amount of fat. The third and final way to get in more protein per day is to make sure you've got some good protein-based snacks in there. And this is where I'm going to give you a list of some good protein-based snacks that I like to always keep around my house and that I recommend to my clients a lot as well. So one that is an absolute game changer is these cartons of egg white liquid. They sell in the grocery store, usually right next to the eggs. It's basically just liquid egg whites. And what I do is I just measure out 4 or 5, sometimes even 6 servings of this. I pour it on the food scale to weigh it out, and then I cook it in the pan just like normal eggs. and they cook up incredibly quickly in like 30 seconds or a minute, and all of a sudden you've got yourself some scrambled eggs or an omelet. I often like to put in some spinach or some fat-free cheese or some vegetables and make a little omelet out of it, but this is just straight protein. 5 grams of protein per serving, 0 fat, 0 carbs. So this is truly a game changer. Add that to your breakfast meal with your regular eggs or with your toast or something like that, and you've got an easy additional 20 or 30 grams of protein. Another one of my favorites is Greek yogurt. My most recent favorite has been the Oikos Pro Greek yogurt little mini cups. There's 20 grams of protein in one of these, 8 grams of carbs, only 3 fat. So what I'll often do is I'll add in some strawberries or some blueberries, or I'll add some fruit to the yogurt. What I've been doing lately is I've been taking one of these Oikos Pro Greek yogurt cups and spreading it across a couple of rice cakes, chocolate rice cakes to be exact, and having that as my pre-workout snack. So I'm getting in some good fast-acting carbs from the rice cakes, and then 20 grams of protein on top of that. It actually tastes really good. Sometimes I drizzle some honey over the rice cakes as well. Just a perfect pre-workout snack to get me ready to train. Another good one that I don't like the taste of as much as Greek yogurt, but often has similar macros, is cottage cheese. Generally, non-fat cottage cheese or low-fat cottage cheese is going to have the best macros and, the highest amount of protein for little to no fat. And I usually eat this the same way as the Greek yogurt. I'll add some fruit to it, maybe put some honey on it, and that's also a good option as well. And then there's an obvious one, which I recommend to pretty much everyone on earth who struggles to get in enough protein, is protein powder, right? Obviously, you want to get a good quality protein powder, minimal ingredients. The one I use from Transparent Labs, I think, has 3 total ingredients. Some of the ones these days, they try to market it as like the best tasting protein on earth, like Oreos and all these other like amazing flavors, which is great. But you look at the ingredients list and there's like 50 ingredients. That's why one of the reasons I go with the Transparent Labs option is because it's as natural, as clean as it gets. The macros are basically unbeatable. 28 grams of protein, 1 gram of carbs, 0 grams of fat if you get the whey isolate from Transparent Labs. And protein powder, as we know, is so versatile. You can have it a dozen different ways. You can put it in a shaker bottle with some almond milk or some water. Just shake it up and drink it in 10 seconds. Or what I've been doing is mixing it up in my shaker bottle with some almond milk and then pouring it into my cereal and having it that way. Sometimes I'll even put a scoop of my protein powder in my oatmeal and just eat it that way, and it tastes pretty good as well. Or you could make a smoothie or a shake out of it with some almond milk or a milk of your choice. Put some fruit in there, put some ice in there in a blender, blend it up, and you've got yourself a nice tasting smoothie. Another decent protein snack that isn't nearly as good as protein powder is a protein bar, right? There's a million protein bars out there these days. Generally, if you can find a protein bar that has 20 grams of protein and call it under 10 grams of fat, that's going to actually be a good set of macros for a protein bar. So obviously, not nearly as good as a protein powder, which may have 0 or only 1 gram of fat for up to 30 grams of protein. But it is another option that you can have around. Another often overlooked protein snack is something like beef jerky, right? Usually there's a good amount of sodium in there, and you can debate whether it's the healthiest or not, but generally it's pretty good in the macros department, right? A good amount of protein, like 15 or 20 grams of protein per serving. And if you're getting the right one, there's very minimal fats, maybe a few grams of carbs. So that's a good like on the go or traveling type snack as well. I'm trying to think if there's any that I get every week at the grocery store that I'm forgetting. Let me know down in the comments if there's any that I forgot or any that you like to have to get some protein up there. But I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to explore the idea of working together with me as your coach to help you get in the best shape of your life, go ahead and check out modernmanprogram.com. As I'm filming this, we're about 6 months into 2022, and we've already seen some life-changing transformations in the program. I'm so proud of the guys so far in this first half of the year, and every year in the second half, we always see guys do the exact same thing, get in incredible shape, and absolutely crush it. So if you'd like to join us, go ahead and check out that website. And I hope to see you on the next episode. Thank you again for watching.